Let's start with first things first. The government announced that there would be a referendum to review, to approve or disapprove the Constitution as was written by the Sawyers Commission and revised by the Kessley Commission. I was Assistant Minister of Information. Carlton Capet Deputy, Ahaju Kromah Minister. I outlined a program for the referendum. Pre-referendum publicity, publicity during the referendum, publicity after the referendum, and publicity for announcing the results of the referendum. We didn't just run things because we're friends just talk in the corridor. Every day I was sending Mr. Kromah an official document telling him how the ministry will run in terms of PR for that day. When we put everything into gear, we got a call from the People's Redemption Council that the council wanted to make a statement to the people of Liberia by and through the speaker Jeffrey Batu. Mr. Steve Makundu was working at that time with ELBC, and because ELBC and information were closely coordinating and cooperating, we had ELBC to send Steve Makundu to interview General Batu, Jeffrey Batu. Steve Makundu got there. Jeffrey Batu did not sit in his office. He said he wanted to make this broadcast in front of the Capitol building with the Capitol building in his background. He made this broadcast. Steve Makundu brought it to the Information Ministry because in those days I decided, and I told Mr. Kromah, that anything that happens here I will get executed because I'm the gatekeeper here. They will blame me for it. So nothing will go on radio, government radio, or government television that I do not know about. No matter who it comes from. I should know about it. I should read it. I should think that it makes common sense before I allow it to pass. Because anything that happens, they will come looking for me. And he agreed. So Steve Makundu brought the videotape to me. I had a very large, a giant-sized screen that was taller, 6 feet tall, that the government had in the office that to screen videos and things before they are played. In my office, and I pushed that video in, and I laid back to hear what Batu had to say. And the Speaker of the People's Redemption Council, Jeffrey Batu, on the eve of the referendum, that means the day before the referendum was supposed to be held, all the boxes, ballot boxes have been sent to all the counties and territories in those days. Everything was ready. Election Commission, everybody ready to conduct this referendum. And Batu stood in front of the television and said that there will be no referendum tomorrow. There will be no referendum tomorrow. Ask Mr. Kromah, he will attest to that. Ask Mr. Steve Makundu, who videotaped it, he will attest to that. Ask Mr. Batu that is in North Carolina, he will attest to the fact that he said so. And I want you to also ask Mr. Jackson E. Doe, the Minister of Transport, because I finally gave that tip to him in the United States, and I will tell you how he got it. Be patient with me. I'm an old man who loves to talk long story. So, Batu said, we are not going to have a referendum tomorrow. The PRC has met and we have decided that we didn't get anything out of this whole revolution thing. If we go back to the barracks, we got nothing to go back with. We got nothing to live on. There's no money for us to go to school, for us to do business. He outlined a lot of things and said because of these things there will be no referendum tomorrow. I called Mr. Kromah by telephone. I said, Ahaji is here. I said, come to my office immediately. We are in trouble. He came over to my office. I said, relax, sit down. I rewound the tape and started playing it. And when Batu got through talking, I turned to Kroma. I said, Mr. Kroma? He said, yeah. I said, we've been friends from LU days, you know that? He said, yeah. I said, we've been in opposition parties at the university. He said, yes. I said, now we find ourselves in the PRC, People Redemption Council government. He said, yes. I said, I just want to let you know that that tape you just watched is our death warrant. Ask Kroma, I told him that. I said, that tape you just watched is our death warrant. If that tape is played in this town, it was supposed to be played 8 o'clock that night. I said, if that tape is played in this town, I guarantee you, you will not see the rising sun tomorrow morning. I will die also. I said, and you know what happened? I'm not going to die for foolishness. This tape will never be played in this town. Ask Mr. Kroma. He's alive. He will tell you. You see some of us there acting calm and not saying anything. It's not that we're dumb. We have taken our stand, but like my father made me swear to fight from within and not fight from without. So my fighting have been inside, fighting from within. I told Kroma, this tape will not be played. If it is played, I will die tonight. I said, you know what will happen? The Liberian people will assume that you and myself and you and I orchestrated this thing to keep the PRC in power so we can stay as assistant minister and minister. I said, you think this is what I'm supposed to be doing in life, assistant minister? I said, our assistant minister before Tauba died. Our assistant minister before Tauba died. And our assistant minister I want to be to kill the referendum. I said, you now, Kroma, go to the mansion and tell the head of state Doe that we have seen this video and we are not going to play it because it's not in his best interest. Go and tell him. Kroma left, he went to the mansion. Came back. I said, what happened, man? The man said, I went there, the man asked me, and that the speaker said it. He said, yeah, it's okay, the speaker represented PRC. If the speaker said it, that all will happen, go play it. I said, oh really? He said, yeah. I said, okay, Kroma, I beg you. I'm not dying tonight. While Kroma was going to the mansion for the first time, I went to some of my relatives in Basel community and gave them the video to put under their mattress. When he came back, I said, Kroma, the video is missing. I cannot find it. Go and tell Doe and the PRC, I'm prepared to be executed, but I can't find the tape. They want to go make another tape before 8 o'clock tonight, let them make it, but I can't find that tape. I said, but Kroma, listen to me. You and myself will die tonight if we play that tape. And I said, you know what happened, Kroma? I will be glad for the PRC to execute me. Then for the people of Liberia to drag me through the street and my name go down in history as the people, part of the people who are trying to suppress the Constitution and they got killed by the people. I said, they will not tell me no E.J. Roy story that was not true. So, Kroma, I'm telling you, go back to the mansion and tell Doe what I say. Kroma went back. He came back and by the time he came back, it was after 9 o'clock in the night. The tape should have been played at 8. He came back after 9. The news was over. Because he explained to me that when he got there, the head of state was cutting his hair in the presence of Abraham Colley and some other people. And Kroma went back there and said, Chief, at the Ministry of Information, we want to tell you respectfully that it's not in government best interest to show that tape. We should have the referendum. He said, Doe got angry and pulled the towel from around her neck and decided to slap Kroma with the towel. And Kroma grabbed the towel and the tension between them pulled Doe out of his chair. And Doe said, oh, you want to fight me? You want to fight me? Then Abraham Colley and all of them had to tell Doe that Kroma is a crazy boy. No mind, they start begging, oh Chief we beg you, oh Chief we beg you. In that confusion, the news passed. The referendum was never cancelled. By 9 o'clock when Kroma came back, the tape could not be found. And the referendum had to go on the next day. And so the referendum went on. Because somebody got to stand up sometimes to do something.